What song was that? That was a song that I... Your mom too. Every single night. And my God. What is it, Kino? Why? Hold on. Did you watch the Andrew Wilson vid where he watched you watch his debate? No. Jesus. Why the fuck is Dante posting... Dude, Twitter allowing long posts was the worst thing that ever happened to this platform. Jesus. Also, how does my camera keep getting pointed in different directions? Jesus. It was just twit longers before anyway? Yeah, but at least you knew when it was a twit longer that you could ignore it. Okay? I don't get it. Cringe Drake song, or cringe Drake fan Destiny doesn't make sense. Kendrick drama memes, they aren't black. Is that the meme? It's about Drake being white. It's not They Not Like Us song, Kendrick calling Drake a p. They are dumb and think Kendrick Not Like Us song is about black people and white people when it's about p. Alright, I have no idea. Okay. Trump raised so much last month he erased Biden's cash advantage. Wow. Wild. Are we going to get an Elder Rig DLC stream anytime soon? Probably not. I don't know why Kelly is talking to my kid about me. It's kind of fucking weird. The reputation massager. Firecracker arrested for having sex with 15-year-old boy. Who's Firecracker? The truth about fire. I don't even know who these people are. Do you see that she was trying to do it with Aaron too? Steven compared me to Mr. Girl, Lav, and Hitler. Nice. The anti-fan community is following her around. Trust her. True. Destiny keeps accusing me of stuff I never did at the start. I've said from the start that I escalated 100%. I think Destiny was just predicting what I would say, I assume. Maybe because of the comments of my general thoughts on miscarriage in the general chat. Wait, what? What is she even referring to here? The confrontation at the beginning of the Jizz drama. What did I even accuse her of saying that she didn't actually say? She's doing the second meeting thing you mentioned. Yeah, her and Lav do it all the time. That's like their MO. Is that they feel like they didn't have a good conversation somewhere, then they'll go into like every other server they have access to and then do the... This is the reputation massaging I talked about. If you ever had a chance to debate people like Charlie Kirk, nope. Are you gonna do a response to the Joseph Klein guy? Yeah, I might. Bro, I looked at this guy's Twitter thread. I thought that it was just gonna be like 7 like tweets. I didn't realize it was like 7 fucking novels. I don't know. I might not have as much of a problem. Like if somebody really wants to do a fucking text debate, I can. But the format of how do I even find this guy's shit? I don't even know. Do I quote tweet each of these to respond to each? Because then I can't even do a thread. Also, some of these are like, wait, there was one of these I clicked on. It was like, holy shit. Bro, I don't know if I, like, my God. Did you see that Loner Box is a schizo stalker? Yeah, I did. Would you have him on just as a conversation? He seems reasonable, maybe, but scared of a shouting match. Well, I'm... Fuck. I'm on a low mood today. You're auto banned. I have calm conversations with plenty of people. I don't know why the insinuation would be that it's only a screaming match if the other person makes it a screaming match. I never start things off as a screaming match. It doesn't happen. I don't do that. Jesus. It's fucking retarded for you to even ask that question. Yeah, if somebody wants to come on and just have like a discussion or a chat or an argument without it being a screaming match, always been willing to do this with people. No shit. You can't pin him down to answering questions or biting bullets the way you can in an actual conversation. The tweet back and forth is a safe space. I mean, you can get people to like actually do. You can actually get people to answer. This technically is not true. You can make people. You can have a better quality debate like on a message board. I don't know if you can on Twitter. The nice thing about a message board is you can actually quote parts of a post and have them like in a sticking out if the other person hasn't responded to something. It's harder to do that in Twitter. So like Twitter, like debating on tweets is just like the worst of every world. If somebody's like, I don't want to debate you. I think Nathan Robinson kind of said this a little bit. Although even writing articles back and forth is cringe. I think message boards are probably the highest tier online debate you can get, but nobody debates on message boards anymore. I'm sorry for banning you, Phil Ogle. I'll unban you. My bad. There you go. When did your interview with Alex O'Connor come out? I don't fucking know. Did you just post a girl? No, you get 90 days. Thank you, Hussein. Are you going to go over the thread today? Which thread? The Kelly shit? It seems like the internet is basically just for porn now. Not just actual pornography, but just blazy, consumerist, pass the time, canned laughter to get you through your day. Oh, yeah, maybe. A little bit. The Joseph Klein. Oh, that? Yeah, I might, but I think I'm probably just going to write the response off stream because going through that on stream is going to be insanely fucking boring. Holy fucking schizo. Sorry, Jesus. Are you gonna sue Twitch? Bro, I don't know. I have so much shit that's like that I need to like bring under my management right now that I don't know how much more new shit I can take on. And listen, if there's a lawyer that wants to take the case on, go for it. Is the Aaron Matei debate still on? You're going to watch this debate on the Comedy Cellar podcast. I haven't even followed up with him either. I agreed. I go to that college and I talk to the incoming high school kids. And I've done this for 2 years. The last time was when I had the meme with the Dennis Prager thing, but I don't think we ever even got the audio of that. And I agreed to do it again this year, and I just realized it's going to eat like 2 days of streaming time. Everything is triggering me right now. I'm so triggered about everything. 1, 2. Because the thing I have to do is going to be on the morning of the 24th, but it's in fucking California. Bro, that is a brutal fucking flight. Atlanta, New York, Toronto are all like manageable, but LA is brutal. It's like 6 hours. Oh, you're getting paid for it? It's an unpaid event. I don't get paid for that one. Why do you agree to these? Do they actually help in some way? Yeah, but there's a marginal benefit. I had like 3 people with me, so I can attest to this. When I was in Israel, I think I had 3 people stop me that recognized me. The first one recognized me from a Jordan Peterson debate. The next guy recognized me from a Ben Shapiro debate. And then the next guy recognized me from, I think it was the Alex Jones debate. So, I mean, like, it helps. It's good recognition. Can you write it off as charitable work? Oh, fuck me. Oh, where's my... I absolutely should have been doing this. Wait, fuck. I should have a market rate that I charge for presentations. And if I don't charge, I should write them a tax receipt or whatever of like a donation of time. And then I would probably get that. Do I get that as a... No, wait, that doesn't give me a deduction, does it? Would it?
Hi, you can't do that.
Why not?
You can't. It's the same reason that if you had like an available apartment or condo and you couldn't rent it, that you can't give it to a nonprofit and be like, oh, I'm getting $800 a month of XYZ right now. That's great. The IRS doesn't allow it.
You're telling me that if there's like a comedian and he does like a performance for like a hospital, like a 501c3, he can't donate the performance?
Nope.
Are you sure? If you're wrong, listen,
Yes.
I'm grumpy today.
Bet
So
me
if you're
money.
wrong,
All right, bet me money.
okay,
Yeah,
$5.
we always do.
$5.
All right, $5. Let's do it. How about your entire
Can you write
Steam skin inventory?
donation?
I don't even know what's in there.
Receipt. I don't even know what's in there. Can you write donation receipt if you donate your time?
Can you write off
Ask whether you
working?
Can, like, time they give you organizations. No, volunteers who provide professional services for free to a qualifying nonprofit organization cannot claim a tax deduction for the value of their time or services. Well, this says no, so. Okay. This means I would have missed out on Destiny. That seems a bit odd to me. I don't think you would be taxed on a service you donate. Well, no, it would basically be like saying, like, can you write the value of it off as like a thing, and then they would be receiving it as a donation.
To be clear, you can write off your costs of going over there and doing things.
Yeah,
So
of course,
plane
yeah.
ticket,
But we're
et
talking
cetera.
about like a theoretical like charge for the service that you're like basically donating.
No, for your time, no. Only the actual costs that you incur in doing it. So like paying the producer.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. These are normal business. Yeah.
Why are you in a bad mood today? What happened?
What hasn't happened?
I don't. Give me the cliff notes, I guess.
Well, our shit got absolutely obliviated 2 nights ago. I think I'm just going to reformat that box, and I'm just going to rebuild the audio chain myself so that I can see everything from start to finish.
You know, hold on one second.
Oh, that's fine. For the software for the audio stuff, I don't like that when I look at it. It's hard for me to figure out what the problem is because I don't know the software side of it. So it's like I can do all the video stuff now. I can do everything on the PC. I can do everything on the hardware for the mics, and I can do everything on the interface itself. But I don't know the software, and that triggers the fuck out of me. So I just need to set aside like 4 hours to. I'm probably gonna reformat that box, throw Windows 11 on it, and then. Oh.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean that was wild.
Um. So reason using software instead of a hardware mixer. That mixer just came the interface came very highly recommended. The software that comes with it is good. I just don't have it's just a little bit weird how it runs into the PC. But yeah, I just need to, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. We got all the camera shit and everything done. Total Mix. Yeah, the Total Mix software is just not as intuitive as I would like it to be. Like the way that it gets the audio into the PC, unless when the two other guys are set up, unless they set it up incorrectly, like here's an example of something that is a little annoying. Like when it goes into Windows, the way that they have it working on OBS and on some areas is they'll pan one thing completely to the left and they'll pan another thing like completely to the right, because I guess Total Mix or the interface itself sends the microphones into the computer via stereo channel, where on the left channel it's got all of one mic and on the right channel it's got all of another. Like it just feels like the software that feels a little hacky. There must be, but maybe that's just how it has to work. But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't dived deep into that software, but I can do it. Like
that computer is decent.
No, the computer's more than decent. It's a good computer.
Yeah,
I think I told you that it was a 4790K. I thought it was an old Devil's Canyon.
No, yeah,
refresh,
it's like a 10900 or something.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
it's a good
more
box
than doable.
for sure. Absolutely.
So is there like a capture card or something that we could be doing better for the audio? So we have the audio sources coming in from multiple microphones. How are those connected to the PC right now?
Complicatedly, but
Okay.
basically the interface itself is a good interface. Has lots of clean gain. You don't even need cloud lifters for SM7B, so that's nice. The interface itself, the mics and everything connect really well. The only issue is the software on the computer to have the stuff coming in is
And balancing it and shit.
No, not balancing it. Just getting it to the computer so you can see it. Just seems to be kind of complicated.
So what device does it go to first? So the microphones go to what currently?
They all everything plugs into that interface.
What's the name of the interface?
It's an REM. I think it's an RME UFX2. RME Fireface UFX2, not 3.
Okay,
2.
I'm looking at it. Okay, so this is RME Fireface UFX2 USB audio interface. Okay, and this supports, it looks like 4.
Yeah, it'll take 4 XLR inputs, so 4 microphones.
And then it outputs it. When it outputs it to the computer, does it output it as, like, does the computer see it as 4 audio sources?
No, it's not that simple. That's why I'm saying you have to use their software, and then it's a whole thing.
You know what I wonder? This might be interesting. Do you think that they make just a simple, just for one? Like, we don't need one that does it for 4. What's the simplest for one thing that takes one microphone and converts it to USB? Just one.
You're talking about just like a basic interface there. But we don't want to have 4 interfaces plugged into the.
Really?
I mean,
the advantage there is that we could then adjust each interface directly.
You can do all of that on this. This is workable. I just have to learn the software. Also, something is weird. I don't know if you can have like multiple USB input microphones active at the same time on.
You can. You absolutely can.
Are you sure?
Well, you know that on your computer that you can have multiple microphones.
Active at the same time?
Sure.
Without using a second piece of software?
Yeah.
How?
Just, you want to see it right now? Do you have a second microphone on your computer?
No.
You don't you normally set up a second microphone when someone comes over?
Yeah, but those are both running into my mixer, and then that has one USB out to the computer.
Well, you can. I mean, if you had a webcam mic or something like that, you could do it. But you can just right-click and go listen to this device and do it, and that will work at the same time as your existing one.
You can right-click and listen to it. Yeah, but I don't think you can input 2 microphone issue.
That is inputting when you're listening to it to a second microphone, just to check if that makes sense. You can't in Windows that has the meme where you can't take exclusive control over an audio device. Like, we've all ran into that before. Like, oh, your video is in use by another application, right? Like when you're trying to stream and something along
Oh,
those
never.
lines.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of like inputting this audio into like Discord or something. You just mean like having multiple sources active on OBS though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
You
And
can do that. That's doable. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. I might, if this is truly too difficult to figure out, then I might just buy just like a more basic mixer. The nice thing about this interface though is that it has like the software has it's very powerful software. Like it handles all the compression and everything, so the mics all sound like really good without needing like separate like software bullshit to like do compression and filtering, all of that. Like everything sounds good on the interface, and it can do all of that with the hardware. It's a really powerful box. I think it's like $2,500 for this interface. It's
what's the
got,
name of the interface that the microphones are using?
you mean downstairs?
Yeah, right. Well, in the studio, what type of microphones? Like, what's the connection? The name
Oh,
of that connection?
the cable is called XLR. That's going to be industry
XLR.
standard for basically every nice microphone. It's going to be an XLR cable.
Um, okay, so yeah, man, I don't know. Like, it sounds like strange, but like, there's companies that just make like XLR to USB DACs, and like you could just get four of those. Do the microphones need more outputted power,
I
or do
don't.
they run
I
passively?
so XLR means that the signal coming from the microphone is going to be an analog, like a waveform, and USB is going to be it's going to have a digital. It's going to be
Right.
zeros and ones. So XLR to USB is going to be you're going to have some kind of active converter there, and I don't know if like
Yep.
having that is. I think that's like a bad quality thing because it's probably going to be cheap and digital or analog to digital
I don't
audio.
think, I mean, if you think about how bad the quality on this can be, first off, I don't know if that's going to necessarily be the case, that the quality would be that bad. Like, I think it's going to be at least CD quality. Like, what are we expecting this to sound like the radio or something?
Well, I mean,
Um,
it's just like I mean, like there's a balance of things. You're right, and it might not be that noticeable, but I mean,
if at
like,
all.
but I
Like,
mean, the only thing you have, like, the most important part here, arguably, is the sound. Is arguably the most important part.
no, I don't disagree that sound is
Hmm.
important, but I mean, I'm looking here and there's like 1,000 XLR to USB adapters that are like there's so many of them and none of them are expensive. Like
Yeah,
I
of
guess
course.
there's one from Shure that costs $120, but the rest of them they're like, 20 to $50. And yeah, I guess that would be interesting. Like does that takes a major piece of bullshit outside of our control and puts it into OBS where we know it, where we
Well,
have
no,
three audio sources.
I understand what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I can learn this. I just have to learn it. That's it. But once I learn it, I'll have it. I'm not gonna do like a hacky solution that I don't know if it's gonna give us as good of a result just because I'm too lazy to learn a piece of software. I can learn this. It's just gonna take me like 4 hours to sit down and do it. I'll do it. I did it with all the camera stuff. I can do it with this. But if I can't, then I'll just opt for something easier. But I mean, this does everything we needed to do. It's already been doing everything we needed to do. I just need to understand it better. Um, you're going to mix all the
I mean,
mics into one input device presented to Windows. No, not necessarily. I just need to understand how it's working, and I
wait,
bet that the thing even can do it. I just haven't.
so you think there's a way that this device, when it's connected to Windows, can show four separate audio outputs or inputs to Windows, and Windows can see those four, and Windows themselves can adjust the levels manually in the software?
I don't know, but I don't think I would want to do it in Windows.
Really?
No, because for Windows, I think you're just gonna want everything at 100, and you want to do all the adjustments on your high quality device.
How do you go? So here's the issue. Like as you try to do stuff from like an iPad, right? Like let's say we have an iPad in front of ourselves and we want to quickly mute ourselves to talk or do something like that. It seems like that will not ever be possible if we use this type of a solution. Like we'll never have that level of instantaneous remote control. If it's like, okay, if we want to mute everyone, we have to go to the hardware device and click mute. There is no software control.
Well, how
Once
would
it's
you
set
do
up, that's
that?
it.
You would want to have the iPad set up to do that with the Windows PC.
Yeah, you could easily do that because everything would essentially be controlled through OBS. OBS sees four audio inputs, and from there, OBS can adjust the audio input levels themselves. It can mute devices, all that type of stuff. Right now, we have an external piece of hardware that does it that first off, I don't even think we need. And second off, completely removes any remote access control for us to do
Why do we
something.
want? In what
Well,
is the use
I'm just
case for us
saying,
wanting to mute?
um, what's the use case? I don't know. Let's say that we wanted to have a secret meeting. Like, it's just an example of something. Like you want to talk about something real quick and you want to pause the microphone. I don't think that you can do it, you know, like that.
That might be the case, but I don't know if I want to severely degrade like a lot of the setup just to have the option to do something. Wait, I don't understand.
Um, Hold on 1 second. Someone's at my door.
Why do you describe yourself as far left on podcasts with conservatives? And none of you seem that far left. It just depends on who you talk to. Some people consider me far left, some people don't. I don't know. It's a 0.07% chance all 6 of you showed up to the Gen 6 debate wearing black, assuming the likelihood of choosing black is 30%. Steven said they probably just showed up that way. What are we talking about? All 6 of you showed up to the Gen 6 debate wearing black, assuming the likelihood of choosing black is 30%. Steven said they probably just showed up that way. You mean my Gen 6 debate with Destiny, Alex Jones, Greenwald, Krasenstein. Okay, these two are in black. I'm in like black and blue. We all are in black. That is actually kind of weird. There's a 0.07% chance all 6 of you showed up wearing black. Is that true? There's no way it's that low. You'd have to know what is the chance of somebody choosing to wear black? You said if it was 30%. So if it was 30%, the chances of 2 people doing it would be 9%. And then 2.7%, and then 0.9. Oh, I see what you're doing. Could it really be that low? Is there not a selection bias for black in important events? I'm not sure. I don't know if black is normally suggested. Man, I will say, so I think I mentioned a couple months ago, I started like just paying attention to some, just like one basic form of fashion. I try to learn like colors and shit and buy clothes and look presentable for my Israel shit. I think that I hear a lot. People always say this. I used to say this, like, oh, black goes with everything. Black goes with everything. That is not true. Black does not go with everything. I feel like black is a very hard color to make work with stuff, unless you're wearing like black pants and then like, you know, like a white shirt or something. I feel like black is actually incredibly restrictive when you're trying to mix and match it with other things. I think there are like pastel. There's like groups of colors. Like I feel like if you give me like beige or brown pants, I feel like I've got like a million different options for top, socks, shoes, and everything else. But as soon as you make like some object, I think mixing solid, strong colors together is like impossible. And black feels like it fits in that role. But I've only looked at I've only got like my button-up casual. I don't even know what I'm wearing right now would be considered. Black doesn't work with brighter colors that are popular in summer. Maybe, but black, I don't think black goes well with other darker colors either. Like if you've got black pants and then you have any other solid, like darker color, I feel like it clashes hard. So like the article here is titled, "Does Black Go with Everything? A Detailed Look." So notice for it looks like for these outfits that the majority of them are black. I agree that black goes with black. Maybe like black with like dark grays. But like this is like black and black, and this is like all black, and then this is like black with a black sash belt or whatever, and then this is black. This has, I can't tell if she's naked underneath this or not. Is that a top, or is she just not wearing anything? You can add accent colors to black outfits. Yeah, I agree with that. But only one item can be non-black in a black outfit. Yeah, that seems to be the rule. Like I wore a while ago, I had like a black shirt with like a red undershirt, and I think that seemed to work. But it seems like you're really heavily restricted. And I don't know if you can wear colorful shoes or not, but maybe you could to match whatever your accent color is. I don't know. We'll see. I think Yobel has some of this Israel-Palestine stuff ready. I can start looking at some of this. I only have like, I'm like very narrow right now in terms of like what I'm looking at in terms of fashion. So there could be stuff that maybe I'll change my mind as I look at more. I'm not like up to any jewelry yet. Also, I can't layer hardcore because I'm generally in warm climates right now, so I don't have access to a whole bunch of coats and stuff. The most I have access to are basically going to be like button-up shirts, because this type of stuff just will never work in Miami. Also, as much as I hate to say it, I think skin tone is really important when it comes to picking colors. I feel like just in wearing different things, as much as I like the color blue, I think that like different types of browns or light greens, I think look way better with my skin tone and hair than blue. I think it clashes hard. So I think if you're white or if you're black or if you're Asian, if you're trying to look at clothes that you think look good on you, the skin tone and the color of your hair, I think is going to be important. So like if you're white and you're looking at things that black people are wearing, I don't think you can always get away with it. So to get your wrist fitted for with a man's timepiece. I left them at home, so I didn't get to try wearing them. I bought 3 different metal wristbands for the watch. But like I said, I haven't even started to approach jewelry at all yet, or watches, so I don't know if I'll do it or not. I'm not sure. Trying to see what I wore on this trip. If you link a Dropbox to people, does it fuck everything up? The quality of the audio interface is all in the mic preamps. As long as you're only turning it down in Windows and not digitally boosting it, you will integrate the sound quality. Also, having easy access faders via software is much preferable to trying to fiddle with knobs and interface like that. I agree with you to some extent. What I don't like is for workflow. Let's say that you have a microphone with a volume button, and then let's say that goes to an interface with a volume button, and then let's say that there is a software that has a volume button, and then let's say you've got Windows with a volume control, and then let's say that you've got OBS with a volume control. What I would want in an ideal workflow is all the volume should be controlled in one area, ideally in like the software for the interface. Like The idea of like people, this is what I got triggered about on the internet now with design, how you can individually mute fucking tabs and you can individually mix like sound on your fucking PC. I feel like all volume should be controlled in essentially one area rather than everybody fucking with all the volume. Like in Discord, the worst feature that was ever fucking added that nobody will ever agree with me on. I don't give a fuck if people agree or not. The worst thing that was ever added was the ability to individually adjust every single user's volume. It's horrible design philosophy. Because now instead of everybody on the internet working towards some agreed upon like standards for how loud or quiet things should be, now every single individual fucking thing is toggled and mixed. And now when you try to match anything else to anything else, as soon as somebody joins a new Discord, everybody's got to like turn everybody's volume up and down, and this is too loud and too quiet. It's a nightmare. It's horrible philosophy for design, but it's become accepted for the internet now because everything is so dog shit. But yeah, but anyway, yeah. I don't want to be adjusting things across like 7 different things. All of it should be done in one area. When was the last time you drew a cartoon face? When I fucked your mom and I made her have a cartoon face. Got him. Why not hire an actual producer so you don't have to worry about the production side anymore? I don't even know where I would find somebody like that at. I can listen. I will figure this out. There is an RME Total Mix FX plugin for Steam Deck. So in the event you do want to mute individual mics remotely, you still can once set up. That's crazy if that's true. What is this? Listen, okay? I don't know much about fashion yet. Okay, we're not on our full fashion arc with Vosh yet. I don't take advice from people that don't give examples, okay? This is cucked. The fact that anybody would write this much about fashion and not link you examples is bullshit. Fuck this. I don't know who this person is. Fuck him, okay? Boom. I hope he writes a Twitter thread on me. Don't care. Where I don't understand how I can get something. Wait, sorry, did I already ask this? If I look at Dropbox, I want to like look at a video on this PC without linking the whole fucking folder. Is there no way of doing that? Do I have to like download it on this PC and then open it? I think I just have to download it. Okay, hold on. How's the car shopping going? Nothing. Nothing is going anywhere in my life right now, okay? I'm just burning out, okay? That's what I'm doing. So it's not going anywhere, all right? My life is spiraling. Okay. Download. Yes. Download. Yes. Download. Yes. Download. Yes. And Amira showed up in Miami that somebody linked me, and I might just fucking buy it. Okay. What you're asking for is impossible on the internet when there's an infinite number of mic configurations any person can have, hence why they give people the option to lower or increase a person's volume on Discord, for instance. It's so crazy that prior to Discord, somehow we were able to do it, you know? Isn't that crazy? We had TeamSpeak, we had Mumble, we had AOL Instant Messenger, call, we had MSN, we had all these things on the internet where somehow we all survived without being able to individually toggle every single person's volume. Crazy, crazy. Okay, stop posting about things that Nathan is doing while I'm streaming. It's weird. Please stop. Holy shit. Stop. Stop this. Those days were ass, though? Hell no. Where are my boomers at? Those were the good days. Those were the good days because only nerds use the internet. Now every retard uses the internet and can't figure shit out. True. And based. Okay. What is your dose of Vyvanse, and when did you start to feel it working? I'm on 60. I didn't feel it working until like 60. But that's because I started with 20 milligrams of Adderall XR. This is a mega autistic, but you in August might benefit from using torrents. The sequential downloading allows you to play back files up until you have them downloaded, which can speed up the initial decision making for the edit. No, don't worry about that. That got fixed. August was just being a baby, okay? What's your weight at? I'm at 145, bleeding it off. How's your gym shit? Non-existent. My arms are pipes, the kind that have no bumps in them. I'm about to move up to 70 milligrams. Have you ever tried that dosage? Nope, because 60 works fine for me. Do you enjoy running or not? Yeah, I was at the end of all my gym days. Running's probably good for you. Every human being should run. Every human should run. Do you take protein with yours to help the uptake? Sure. Everybody should drink protein shakes too. Fuck that shit. Nobody wants to eat chicken and broccoli all day. What is this? Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater.
Altitude 30,000 feet. Approaching Soviet...
Treadmill versus bike? Treadmill, always. Biking is for losers, unless you're really fat and you'll destroy your knees running.
airspace.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West.
Wow.
Your codename for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. The clock is ticking. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy.
Wow. Fat people should swim. It's better than running and biking. That is unrealistic advice because fat people will never get in the pool. They don't want to take their shirts off. And if they don't, they'll drown.
You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment. Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army. Freeze. Speak.
It's basically just a remake, right? With upgraded graphics. You should get this for exercise. You know, I'm gonna be honest. It looks fucking memey, but apparently the reviews on it are pretty good. I saw people talking about this. This is like it's some variable fucking resistance machine that you could do every exercise on. But it costs like, isn't this like $5,000 or some bullshit? So if you want to spend a whole bunch of fucking money. Cone Carnage has it, I think. Oh, and you have to pay the subscription service, I think, to make it work as well. Are you debating O'Connor? No, I chatted with him yesterday in Atlanta. And I think you have to pay. You have to get like their installers to come and install it too to make sure that it works. What was the O'Connor conversation about? I don't know. Like random philosophy stuff, basically. God. I keep saying I read this book, but I haven't. I'm like 70% of the way through it. I'm reading this book called Culture and Conflict in the Middle East. And it's just... so much of it is so interesting. It has to do basically with how like tribal societies manage to work for Arabs, basically. Like, how was it that they were able to maintain these like tribal societies across like such vast stretches of land for so long without things falling apart? And I won't get into all of this, but just there's this concept that a lot of this is built on, and the author calls it balanced opposition, and it's super fascinating. But like, I'll explain like this very simple thing, and then it makes sense in terms of how it would work. Okay, so say you have like your family head. We're never gonna be done with Israel Palestine. This has nothing to do with Israel Palestine. Just leave if you don't like what I'm talking about. Okay, please leave. Oh, I'm pivoting, dude. This year I'm gonna pivot to the fucking we're just gonna read history all day. Okay, I need to bleed all the fucking random retards for my stream. You basically have so they do it all through like wait, I'm not even able to draw this. You obviously you trace it through the father's line. I can't draw this at all. Why did I even think I could draw this? Somebody should just link me a fucking tree. There we go. That's beautiful. I've never seen a more beautiful fucking thing in my life. Okay, well, that's not going to work. Did you mean to use lines? Yeah, look. Basically, the way that this works is, in a lot of these, in the Arab tribal societies, everything rested on this concept called balanced opposition. And what that meant was, whoever you were fighting against, the fight would only go as big as the family tree allowed it to go, essentially. So, for instance, let's say that you have like these two families fighting with each other. It would just be these two families fighting with each other. That's it. It would be here and here. So you wouldn't have these like huge wars where it'd be like 5,000 people against like 20 people. It would always be here. But let's say you get into an area where like this guy here wants to fight against like this guy here. And the ancestor you share, it's not common to get to like a great grandfather or something, right? That might pull in everybody that's like part of this tree to be fighting everybody that's part of this tree. And then again, let's say that like you over here get into a conflict with somebody over here, then that might mean that every single person who traces their lineage up to this guy is now fighting every single person that traces their lineage up to this guy. This is like kind of like basic family structure that a lot of or all of like the Arab societies kind of revolved around in, I guess, like, would this have been pre all the caliphites? Maybe pre Ottoman Empire caliphate. But the way that this worked was it essentially made it so that you have these societies where you always have like a balance of conflict. There's never one side getting steamrolled by the other. It ends up being entirely decentralized. Like nobody's required to like give a command. Like nobody up here has to order this guy to fight. Nobody up here has to order this guy to fight because everybody just knows the expectation is like, depending on which family members are involved, you know if you're going to have to be involved in this conflict or not. It makes it so that like seeking vengeance, taking retribution, or collecting reparations or payments is very easy, right? So like if this guy over here does something to fuck with you over here, because he's like, they have like this common ancestor. Now, anybody in this group can take vengeance or seek reparations from anybody in this group. It just, the way that this balances itself out, like works, it just works so well to maintain some kind of like order that was totally decentralized, allowed for a whole bunch of different like freedoms and everything for the individuals involved. It's just a super interesting way to balance society. One of the interesting things too that's brought up that I always I guess I take this for granted, is that you always view, I think in the West, we view the state as being like the evolution of, you could say like from this kind of stuff, from this type of like tribal, nomadic, pastoral, whatever organization. You always think of the state as being the next step, but that's not true. The state for a while ran in parallel to these things. However, the worst versions of states are far inferior to the best versions of those tribal systems. So like early states were essentially just extortion schemes where you would have a bunch of peasants, and peasants are fucked who do farming, because if you do farming, you kind of have to stay in one spot, which leaves you vulnerable to raiding. It means that you're usually have like a high population density. You're susceptible to having your shit fucked. You can't just pack up and move. You're susceptible to other people like extorting you. Like, so states basically form as like these early kind of like thuggish extortion mechanisms. And if you are like part of these more nomadic people, you move and you do this like tribal stuff, your life is actually infinitely better than like the poor peasants that are like in these early, like these constitutional rights, ensuring states or whatever. Yeah, if you ever bored how does this lead to freedom of the individual? As you said, if you always get dragged into family feuds, which you can't opt out of, well, because of the family feud structure, it highly encouraged people to act in correct ways, because if you didn't, your honor and integrity are always on the line, and people in your family structure know that if you're going to do some dumb shit, they're going to get sucked into it. So if you want to go and fight with your brother, fine. If you want to go fight with your cousin, okay. But if you're going to start getting into a fight with like somebody whose lineage you have to go like 4 generations back to trace, well, if you're going to do some retarded shit, I'm going to have to be like on call to go and fight. And I will go and fight for you, because we must, because our honor and integrity is everything. And your ability to stand up and fight with your brothers, cousins, whatever, depending on the conflict, is everything. But it discourages that type of reckless behavior, because you know that now all of us are on the line for your retarded shit. So it, yeah. What was the book called? It's called Culture and Conflict in the Middle East. It's an interesting book. Armies of Sand mentions this a little bit. Arab soldiers in modern wars would desert their units to go protect their families. It happened a lot in the 70s. Oh, yeah, sure. Or even sometimes you might even have to leave your, he uses a word for it, but like you might marry into a family, but then if your tribe gets attacked, and even if it's part of your new family stuff, if you're a man, you might have to go back to your old family and fight with them against like even the family you married into or whatever. Yeah, stuff like that, yeah. Would you say that this is cringe in current society? I don't pass normative judgments on it, on whether it's good or bad. It's just, it was a form of organization that existed, and the author to this book argues that it's important to understand this form of organization, to understand how early Middle Eastern stuff developed, and how it might even play a role into some modern Middle Eastern politics. Isn't this decentralized system leaves you more susceptible to outside invaders taking over your country? Kind of. So one of the things that the author argues is this is the reason why Islam was so successful in the Arab world, is because what Islam did is it incorporated that concept of balanced opposition by giving you this top part of it, which was Muhammad, or like the Muslim versus the infidel. It basically made it so that all of the people, all of the tenets of the religion could be incorporated into this balanced opposition scheme, where the opposition is now the infidel. He's the outside family group. And then you have a way to, if you're fighting like an infidel or an outside, you have the ability to call upon all of your Muslim brothers to partake in that battle, because now it's, because now you've incorporated the religion into like that balanced opposition structure, which I think is interesting, yeah. What do you think about your conversation with Ina? It was okay. It's kind of not very remarkable, but when you describe these honor-based loyalties and honesty, and honestly, it honestly just sounds like toxic masculinity. Was that a sincere comment, or was that a troll, post? I can't tell. Would you ever go on Jesse Lee Peterson's show again for the memes? Maybe, I don't know. What a loser. What the fuck? Where am I? Oh. Ben Burgess wants to have an Israel-Palestine debate. I mean, if he wants to. The problem is that, like, I feel like Ben in conversation is always so passive. But I'm sure if you want to. How late does this book go until? I'm assuming pre-20th century, since one of the main criticisms of Arab armies in the 20th century is the opposite of what you're describing: over-centralization that limited delegated authority and that discouraged initiative in junior officers. Well, I don't know. I don't know how far the book goes through time, but none of what I've talked about for this balanced opposition stuff, none of this really requires like organized armies. I think that this sort of societal structure would lose to the state, like an organized structure. The only thing that really matters for these like kind of tribal structures is that every man is somewhat of a fighter, and you develop that right through your life. You're trained from an early age because it's understood that every man is going to be called upon to fight on behalf of his tribe. But you're called upon to fight in a numbers sort of way, not like we're going to show up in organized armies and participate in like extended warfare on a battlefield. It's just like everybody kind of shows up and you brawl with each other basically. But you're versus like a formal state with an organized army, these types of structures are probably always going to fail, because you just can't present enough of a united front against the outside. Based on things like this book, do you see these ethnic differences as purely cultural, or do you think there's any room for some quasi-race realism theories with how societies function? My int one is I don't even know if it would be possible to study that. But two would be I don't know if there's been enough time passing between certain groups of people for like huge behavioral differences like that to manifest meaningfully in like wide genetic populations. I don't know if that would be the case or not. And then even if that was the case, I don't know how severe the genetic impact would cause one group to act versus another, as opposed to the socialization of all of it. So YouTube, the Papua New Guinea tribal war. They only fought until there was a single casualty on either side. Okay. Destiny is describing why honor killings are a thing. I don't know what an honor killing has to do with this. Holy shit. One of the things I totally understand, I understand why so much now, why historians and other people don't do like mainstream politics, is because it's the conversations are cancer. Like, you degenerate, retarded fucks cannot even conceive of an idea without immediately trying to tie it into some normative system you have so you can pass some judgment on it or incorporate it into some dog shit fucking political idea that you have. We should all go back to the jungle and kill ourselves. I think that would be the best society. I am all here for it. Jesus. Just kidding. I don't know. Did Destiny ever react to Adam talking about his trans segment on the Hodge twins? Did Adam? Who's Adam? Which one? How could you hit a 950 in the jungle? I can hit a 950 anytime I want, and I will. I will hit the 950 right now. Here it comes, okay? Fuck you guys. Boom. 952. If you couldn't read that, it's because your monitor resolution was fucked. Israel is using trained dogs to rape Palestinian prisoners. I'm sure. Was this guy in chat memeing? Now I realize why he said that. I didn't even... Okay, unban you. Do you still believe that academics are just bad communicators? Do you empathize with them more now? No, they are bad communicators as well. They need to be stronger. What does Stephen have to say about the UN report that Israel is guilty of war crimes? I don't say anything about it. I dodge it because I'm too scared to confront that topic head on. The Adam thing is where Amy defended you. They did a section on your trans comments on the Hodge Twins podcast. Oh boy. Do I even want to watch? Do I even want to see this? It's going to be... I can already guess the whole thing. Yeah,
So
doesn't
at 13
even...
years old,
Can't even say what a woman is. Obviously. But maybe not. I'm just guessing. What is the name? Isn't the show Valuetainment? Or is it not? Is it a different... Oh, no, it's Sozcast. I don't even know where it would be here. You say that genocide is about the special intent, and that's true, but if hypothetically 80% of a population group were killed, surely that's tantamount to genocide. I don't know what tantamount to genocide means. That's a meaningless statement. That's like saying if I punch a girl hard enough, eventually it becomes rape, right? No. Maybe if you punched her in the vagina with your dick. Academics have to conduct research and teach classes. Destiny sits on his ass all day. Why do you assume that doing research and teaching class isn't sitting on your ass too? Also, no. Plenty of people have lots of jobs that don't involve just teaching and research all day. Also, it doesn't matter if you can't communicate it. Communicating is important. Pretending a word means nothing if you don't see a strict legal definition is kind of annoying. I don't even know which side you're arguing on. Language is complicated. When you say a word, you're invoking like webs of concepts in your mind. That's how humans use language. The idea that any one particular word has like an absolutist meaning, except for maybe abstract concepts like the number one, is fucking retarded. So somebody like tries to nail you down like, what is a woman? Ask somebody, yes. Reconnect me, yes. This is a dumb analogy. The punching isn't an inherent part of rape, as opposed to killing or reducing population is an inherent part of genocide. Not necessarily. Genocide has two elements. Both need to be met. That's it. If you're missing one, it's not genocide. That's it. Which one am I supposed to click here? Where do they do the trans thing? Do I? Epic fail. Oh, they even call it epic fail. Thank God.
Our old friend Destiny.
Destiny.
Stephen Bonnell is in the news again.
Why is the audio panned to the right? What setting do they have on which device that the audio is panned to the right? It's happening. Can you hear it? I'm not changing it. We're gonna listen to it like this. I understand what you were saying, but you also have to acknowledge hearing you say it sounds no different than Jordan Peterson explaining to Alex Connor whether or not the Exodus happened. What? No, it's not. It might sound similar if you're retarded, but there is a material fact that can be talked about for an Exodus. There are no material facts to be spoken of when it comes to language. This doesn't work the same way. What do you mean? If you eliminate all of mankind, can we have the meanings of words?
Our old friend Destiny. Stephen Bonnell is in the news again, but not necessarily for the right reasons, because he was recently on the Hodge Twins podcast, and they asked him a very difficult question that he struggled with. And the question was, Destiny, what is a woman? And he gave a sort of answer. I believe we have the clip.
What is a woman?
What? Fuck, that's a really complicated question.
Man, come on, man.
That's an insanely fucking complicated question.
Yeah.
Here, without diving too deep on all this dumb shit, okay, listen, okay? Jesus Christ, okay?
He's trying to think of it.
So
why is that an insanely complicated question?
It was, but then this is how they responded after he kind of gave some, ran around the bush here about that. Do you have the second half of that clip?
Yeah. Ran around the bush. Oh, so we don't even play my answer. That's good, okay. Shit, Mrs. Weber.
I think when somebody said I think of tits in a vagina.
Sure, maybe, but like you might meet somebody.
No, not maybe. Woman,
not maybe. Not maybe. So the Hodge Twins were not having it, Destiny.
Wait,
by the way, Destiny, you gotta do better than that. Could you have the full
Gotta do better. You didn't even listen to the explanation
of the clip, if you
Yes.
can?
I feel like we
So he
need
went to
that.
basically say all sorts of explanations like, well, you gotta understand what qualia is. It depends on the circumstance, and like there's tables and there's curtains, and is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
Vagina.
And Destiny's not an idiot. We've done multiple podcast content.
Yeah, he's
so
smart.
Destiny, I don't know why he struggled with this one, but this is what he did and attempted to try to define a woman. Go ahead.
Is a woman.
I'm confused when you talk about the what is a woman question, because your argument for a woman possibly meaning all these things sounds like people trying to argue racism is power plus prejudice. No one uses the word woman like that, just like no one uses the word racist like that. Okay. I'm just going to end up re-explaining what I explained on the Hodge Twin show. When you're using words, the goal is to invoke something in a person's mind, okay? That's all we do. When we speak language, the goal is to invoke something in a person's mind. I would say that in like 99% of circumstances, when you say woman or you say man, people understand what you're invoking there, right? But you take for granted how complicated language is when you speak a thing to invoke something in a person's mind. Because what you're invoking in a person's mind is very rarely as rigid or as fundamental as people like to think. That's why it's funny to me when people say things like, oh, well, when I say woman, I mean like vagina and tits or whatever. And I was like, okay, that maybe you can say that you mean that, but when you identify people as man or woman in society, when we say that, we're not really evaluating them on those circumstances. You might assume that they have it, but we're using these as like proxies for other traits or characteristics. Or like when somebody says, for instance, even in common policy for like sayings, if somebody says like, "Oh, you throw like a woman," or "Why are you acting like a girl?" Are they literally saying that like you're moving your body in a way that makes it seem like you have a vagina or tits, or are they referring to some like other types of like behavioral characteristics? Right? I'm saying when we say words, it's complicated. The question of what is a woman is just a retard's way of trying to get a gotcha because they're either too intellectually lazy to explore, like trans topics, or they're genuinely too retarded to understand how sophisticated or complicated language is. That's it. Like, what is a woman is just a shortcut to being able to say, like, oh, well, I don't think that, like, trans people are a real phenomenon, which, by the way, that's like a defensible position. If you think that trans people aren't real, or if you think that, like, the way that we approach trans issues is not real, or I'm sorry, is not good, then have that argument. You can have that discussion, right? Which is fine. But to try to mask it with like what is a woman, it's like content made by retards for retards to convince retards that they're not retards. Like, that's like, you think you're getting some like massive own by saying like, well, what is a woman? Like, it's what, like, any word, any singular word is truly going to be pretty difficult to define when you're talking about the difference between like universal categories of things versus like particular things themselves. Just definitionally, these are incredibly difficult things to pin down. And that can be true if we talk about like, what is a phone? What's the difference between like a phone and a tablet? Or like, I said before, what is a table? What is a chair? What is like any particular type of thing? And I think I give the meme example, like, well, what is a hot dog or a sandwich, right? Like, these are like meme examples, but they demonstrate that like language is a very complicated thing. It's arguably one of the most complicated things that humans utilize is language. It's probably one of the things that gives us the biggest advantage over every other species on the planet. Like the idea that we can say something and refer to things at different times or in different places, or refer to things like relationally. We're not even just saying nouns. We're like talking about relationships between two things or describing abstract thoughts. Like, yeah. Do you feel like sometimes it's not worth getting into it? Yeah, it's never worth getting into it because everybody that asks these questions are by definition fucking retarded, especially because the answer to these questions are always fucking retarded because the answer they'll give is something like adult human female. Okay, genius, what the fuck is a female? That's literally a definition. It's a tautological answer. You're answering the question with the same thing that is contained in the question itself. Like, what is a woman? A female. Wow. Holy shit, bro. You're fucking genius. Good job. You solved it. Like, it's just stupid. Couldn't you just say XX chromosome human mammal? You can say that, sure, but I hate this topic. I hate it. When you say like, couldn't you just say XX chromosome human mammal? Sure, but then the question becomes, when you say woman today, are you referring to the same thing that somebody meant when they said woman in the year 1000? Because they didn't know about XX chromosomes. So when you say woman and you're referring to chromosomes, are you now referring to something substantively different? Has the definition changed? Were they always referring to XX chromosomes without realizing it? Right? Language is complicated. That's all I'm saying. Don't take it for granted. Or do take it for granted because nobody honestly gives a fuck and everybody just takes it for granted anyway. So who the fuck cares? What the fuck? That's a really complicated question. That's an insanely fucking complicated question. Yeah. Here, without diving too deep on this dumbass shit, okay? Listen, okay? Jesus Christ, okay? If I tell you a thing, okay? In philosophy, there's something like qualia, okay? So like, what is it like to experience something, okay? Behind you is a red curtain. You've never seen color red before. And I say, there's a red curtain. I can never actually express what that qualia is. You're not going to know unless you experience it yourself, right? So there are things we experience, and when we have two brains, okay? I can never send you an idea. I can't do it. It's impossible because our brains are. So what I do is I speak a word. When I say something, I hope you have an experience that maps onto it. So when I say, oh, this blanket is really soft, you might think soft like a dog or a cat or a pillow. You've got other experience. I also hate this too. God, fuck, it makes me not want to do any of this fucking cuck shit. It makes me not want to do any of this because I get accused of doing it on the other end where people always say like, oh, Destiny just does rhetoric and he blah, 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 blah. And it's not, I hate rhetoric. I hate rhetoric so much because most of the time that I spend preparing for debates is just figuring out how to communicate ideas to retards, okay? So when you say, so just say woman is a category, different people have different qualifications or borders of that category. The long diatribe is always going to be a PR nightmare. When you say PR nightmare, what that sounds to me like is like you have to dumb yourself down to have the most retarded fucking conversation in the world because everybody listening to you is a fucking moron. I hate that. I'd rather just have an interesting conversation with an intelligent person rather than sit here and try to think like, okay, well, how do I dumb this down for the retarded knuckle-dragging fucking moron that's going to be listening to this, who's like literally drooling and coming at the same time, trying to smash the right combination of letters on their fucking keyboard to, say whatever bullshit on Twitter. God, it's so fucking annoying. Ugh. Word. When I say something, I hope you have an experience that maps onto it. So when I say, oh, this blanket is really soft, you might think soft like, oh, like a dog or a cat or a pillow. You've got other experience in that one. For all of the language that we use, we say words. There's a whole bunch of associated concepts that like pop up when we say those words. Now, they might not map cleanly onto some universal, Platonistic form of a thing. So for instance, when I say table, when I tell you to define a table, you can never give me a definition that encompasses all tables and excludes all things that aren't tables, right? They always have four legs. One, like, I don't even know what, like, I explained all this. I don't even know if it's worth explaining all this. I don't even know if anybody even connects with anything I just said. They're like, oh, actually, no. Actually, words come from Merriam-Webster. What's like a woman? When we say woman, then a concept lights up a whole bunch of concepts. So woman, they tend to dress a certain way, they tend to have certain hair, they tend to exhibit certain like characteristics, they tend to have certain body parts, they tend to have certain, right? So a woman, it really kind of depends on the circumstance, right? Like if I'm in let's say that I'm in school, right, and I'm like a grade schooler, and someone says, oh, a woman just walked by. Well, in that case, you're probably speaking more to age than like gender, right? It's like, oh, shit, like Mrs. Whoever.
I think when someone says that, I think of tits in the vagina.
Sure, maybe, but like you might need. Can you explain that counter argument a bit further? They generally identify the X chromosomes based on how females develop and look. Sure. Why is it wrong to say that now that we know? Why is it wrong? It's not about being like right or wrong. It's about looking at the world with a little bit more sophistication than whatever stupid fucking alternative media dipshit you listen to. Okay? I can prove words arise descriptively. Like language, that's not the right word. I'm thinking of description versus prescription. Words arise through use, okay? You use words and that's how they become popular in society. They don't come from a book with strict definitions. The easiest argument in favor of this, like, here's the easiest argument completely, is I just have to look at, what was that podcast where, it's the easiest demonstration of the concept that I'm getting at, and it proves it so cleanly. There's an episode on Joe Rogan where Ben Shapiro keeps fucking up over and over again. He's trying so hard to gender somebody with their biological sex or whatever, and he keeps using the pronouns that the person presents as. He keeps fucking it up over and over again. And the reason why, you have to ask yourself in those moments when Ben is fucking up, is Ben Shapiro fucking up because he genuinely thought for a moment that they did have XX chromosomes, that they genuinely had XY chromosomes? No, there's never that confusion in Ben Shapiro's mind. What's actually happening is the way that we use the words male or female or man or woman, it's a complicated web of things that we associate with it. And if enough of those things, flip a switch in one direction, then we tend to think man, we tend to think woman. That's how it works. What I just said there is true. You can be ass mad about it if you want, but it's true for you, no matter how much you're kicking and screaming against the concept. This is how you use language, how everybody uses language. That's just a fact of the world. I'm not even saying anything controversial at this point. But Laverne Cox, is that... I wish I could find... I need to save this clip. "34 minutes. Oh, it's this. I think he does this multiple times in this show.
Transgender woman from Orange is the New Black.
I never watched that show.
I've never watched that show either, but she's on the cover of Time magazine.
Oh.
Or he's on the cover of Time magazine.
Like, he does it several times in this. Somebody linked it. Does Crowder do this too?
King.
Break a leg.
There's one way to curb underage drinking. Gosh. Let's also put a picture of her by the mantle. Keep the kids away from the fire.
Yeah.
Him. Shoot. Whatever. Z. I don't know. You can admonish me off the bat because I can't keep this straight.
Wait, but why can't he keep it straight? It should be incredibly obvious, right? Because he and she literally just mean chromosomes, right? You're never mixing those up, right? It should be really easy, no?
Look, I guess if Bud Light can pretend to be beer, he can pretend to be a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
But my question was, that really her head? Why did her head look so huge?
Like, why? What do you mean her? Are they all of these people just keep forgetting the chromosomes? Is that what's happening here?
And her torso.
This seems like a weak point to argue on. Yeah, it's because you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry. I don't have the patience for this right now. Fuck me. I can't do this today.
Look so tiny.
Well, that's what happens. The estrogen sort of, it breaks down the body to the point of no repair, but you still have the ectronomy.
That was a guy at one point?
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to believe this?
Still is.
Yeah.
Still is a guy.
I gotta be in...
Like, even that sentence betrays what's happening in the head. That was a guy at one point? How could you ever utter that sentence unless there's something more in the definition than just the XX, XY chromosome? Something else is happening there. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, something else is obviously happening in the brain there, right? Brian, thanks for the 10 gifted subs.
Sort of kind of cute.
Really? What? You're into the whole body of Tweety Bird head of Andre the Giant?
Again. No, I'm sorry. I
was
talking about the girl in the Nike commercial.
Oh.
No, holy Jesus, but her head looks huge there.
Yeah.
And you don't know if it's an official deal with Bud Light or not.
I have no idea. But
You could still say a woman is XX chromosomes and also admit that appearance can deceive someone. You're deceiving yourself if you think that when you say XX or XY, that you're referring to some genetic structure. That's just not true. The reality is, two things can happen at once, okay? Words are complicated. Language is complicated. There's whole theories of language. There's reasons why people write so much on theories of language. So one is that language is complicated. And two, if you don't think that trans people should be a thing, or you don't believe in trans people, or whatever, then just argue that. Don't be a little limp dick pussy fuck who can't actually handle the discussion. So you think you're asking some stupid gotcha question that's just revealing that you would be wiped out in a society that doesn't allow 65 IQ people to breathe. Like, just say that. Just say, oh, well, I don't think that trans people exist in a way that they should have access to medication. We shouldn't train them, blah, blah, blah. Just say that. Just do that instead of trying to do like the weird gotchas that just demonstrate your lack of understanding about anything having to do with humankind.
No, not maybe. A woman walks by, someone say, "Oh, she's got tits in the vagina."
But not, you're assessing behaviors anymore. When you see
Okay, gotcha. All right, so the hot twins weren't having it. We've had the hot twins.
Wow, Brian, thanks for 20 gifted memberships, buddy.
The podcast. Those guys are huge and hilarious. Destiny, you know,
we love Destiny,
smart guy. We've had him on the podcast. I like Destiny.
Yeah.
But sometimes, bro, just answer the question. So, Rich.
You are completely misunderstanding what the purpose of the question is, and I don't know why. The question is to test people's ability to define the categories they're seeking to redefine. No, you're wrong. That's not the purpose of the question. The purpose of the question is to see what team you're on, and then to see if you can like get a cheap gotcha because you don't have the philosophical or medical background to even discuss the question. That's all it means. That's all it is. That's the start and stop of what that question is for.
Trick question. What is a woman?
I mean, really?
Yes. Please help.
I mean, this is the word qualia, curtain, or hot dog.
I mean, I just lost a minute of my life listening to this idiot talk about. I don't know why he gets a platform. What is a woman? It's a biological female.
This was the cuck that was scared to have a conversation with me, right? Where Amy asked, "Is there one person that you disagree with that you'd have a conversation with?" And I think he like had a short circuit on the fucking stage. Was he one of them?
With the ability to birth children. That's it.
No, but some might say that's the sex. So there's two sexes, right? Female,
I don't
male.
care what other people say. A woman
gender.
has a uterus, has a vagina,
Listen,
has breast tissue.
I have my own personal opinion. You know,
and it's such a this is like the health at every size arguments too. Like they act like they're so brave. Like, actually, I think a woman has a vagina and a woman has a, yeah, you're right. Like in 99.9, or maybe in all circumstances, depending on how you want to go about it. But like, just have the conversation then. Don't look for the easy gotcha question. Okay.
I don't like when people are like, you know, when you say, what is your gender? And there's like 50 different options.
Male
I'm
or
like,
female,
I'm
straightforward.
overwhelmed. Yeah.
I don't know why we have to,
Why do we need to separate the
confuse
two?
things today.
But that's just what
This is all part of the agenda to
that's what
pacify
he
the
should have
Western
gone
Okay,
with.
how about this? Ready?
The agenda, the big agenda comes in. I like these guys that can't hold any complicated thoughts in their mind whatsoever. Somehow have identified like the overarching, like transcendental demon that is trying to control and shift all society. Can we just ship these guys all to Dubai? We should start a fund to ship these people to Dubai. They can just go live there forever. Get them the fuck out of my country, please.
Raise your hand if you're currently pregnant on the panel. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a biological
so just
female that's pregnant.
The biological adult
Woman.
human female.
Yes.
Chris, I know you've been trying to get pregnant. Why hasn't it happened for you, bro?
Not a woman.
What?
What?
Yeah.
So what's a woman?
An adult human female.
Oh.
Like this is like a troll movie, bro. So much of the conservatives have like turned into like actual memes, like where you would never expect it to be so on the nose, like fucking retarded. But it's like the fact that this guy, it looks like he's got a tube connected to his asshole, and he gets high on his own farts constantly. Like, what's a woman? An adult human female. Like, oh my god, bro. Congratulations. A woman is a woman, dude. You're so smart. You're so smart.
Yeah.
So what's a woman?
An adult human female.
Oh.
A birth giver.
Okay. What? By the way, let's just go around table here. Shay, what's a woman?
I can't even explain myself, but a birth
Okay.
giver.
Like me.
We give life.
Give life.
Yeah.
Okay. Marina, you know you can say it in English or Russian, but what is woman?
I would call her a biological female that can reproduct people.
Okay. Now, not every woman can give birth. We
Yeah.
understand that, but
Has ability to
has the
reproduct.
ability.
Yes.
You came from we all like. What did Tupac say? We all came from a woman, got a name from a woman, so don't try to blame.
Oh,
me.
can I
All right.
add? Feminine
Go ahead. I
energy.
bring up Tupac. Shay wants to. Go ahead.
Feminine energy.
Feminine energy.
But I mean, you have men that have feminine energy. Like Destiny, for example.
Oh, have you ever done any content with Destiny?
No, I would never sit with that guy.
Really? Why?
He's a clown.
You wouldn't debate him though?
On what?
I mean, at this point, should we just say that red pillars and all these hard right freak bitches just like money more than we do? We just don't like money enough. They are built different. What are you talking about? I mean, I think they probably believe this shit. They're just retarded. I don't know if it's a grift. I think they're just genuinely fucking stupid.
What is a woman?
He let other dudes bang his wife.
Oh.
He doesn't have the capacity to describe what a woman is.
So you wouldn't even sit down.
So
what's the point?
I mean, that is true,
Is it
though.
that you don't respect him, you don't value him, you think he's an idiot, all the above, none of the above?
Can a person say there are only 2 genders and still believe that trans people are real? I guess I only believe in 2 genders. What is the? That's like a 2018 meme. Like how many genders are there? How many people are even pushing the more than 2 genders thing? Like, I think you're a super bad faith to conservatives. You know that Matt Walsh wasn't purity testing gender theorists. He was trying to show ideological incongruence. At least admit that. Matt Walsh was brought into Joe Rogan and asked how many trans children does he think are getting like puberty blockers or surgery or something. And his answer was like 4 orders of magnitude off after doing a whole documentary on trans stuff. So no, I'm not going to give any charitability to somebody that fucking stupid ever.
Bad Destiny.
I understand that he provides entertainment when he rambles on for 13 minutes about a subject like what's a woman.
Yeah, as opposed to this guy who's giving us so much intellectual stimulation.
But why?
Let's get
A
to the
biological
point,
woman is a person with a uterus, with a vagina, with female breast tissue that can birth a child. Straightforward. It's not a convoluted question. Let's bring in red curtains and legs on a chair.
Yeah,
Like,
the table.
who the hell's falling for that? That's like bullshit baffles brains.
I zoned out. Yeah, the big problem with intelligent liberals, I wouldn't call him a progressive because he actually just denounced progressives, but like with Pixie even, for example, they over-intellectualize things where they're like, well, I didn't check anyone's DNA before I walked into this room. How could I really be sure? It's like there's 2 extremes. Either you're so dumb that you literally believe that people can be in the wrong body, your soul can be in the wrong body, or you over-intellectualize it using a fancy word salad like Destiny.
Yeah, but you're over-intellectualizing it by saying chromosomes. Unironically, I don't even know if he would stand by his answer because he's so fucking unhinged now. Jordan Peterson actually gave the best answer on that documentary for what is a woman. I don't even know what in his brain exists anymore as far as philosophy goes. But he actually gives. If you're not retarded, it's actually an insightfully correct answer. But I don't even know if Peterson knew how insightful or correct it was. Fuck, I don't know if that segment is on YouTube because I feel like it's just the. Oh no, wait, is this Peterson?
So we're going on this.
Right.
Like it's a curious question, but
It was the first vid. I feel it's just gonna be him asking it or something. Oh, let me find it.
We've been journeying across the country asking people this question, and almost nobody can answer it.
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
Marry one and find out.
That's technically the use case is the correct answer. What Peterson's answer is completely correct. Now, I don't know if he was saying that with any level of linguistic insight or any like philosophical understanding of what he's saying there about language, or if it was just like a meme answer because he's trying to whatever. But that is how we discover what words are, what language means, and how things are. It's as you use concepts and become familiar with them, meaning you have some sort of experience with them. This is how we develop language and vocabulary and communicate from person to person. That is what it is. So if you want to know what a particular thing is, truly the only way to know what that thing is to go out and experience it. That's the correct answer. But it's funny, but because Peterson has given us the right here, I guess people just think that's synonymous with adult human female, but... Why do you think the answers in the documentary were so piss poor then? Did it not succeed in showing how these PhDs in gender are incapable of understanding their own definitions? I don't remember when we watched this. I feel like most of the people that he was speaking to were fucking stupid. That's the feeling I got, but I don't know who's to say. But I also don't know like the setup he had for all the questions and everything too, so I don't know. You do not need to marry one though. It makes no sense. No, you don't need to marry one, but you experience it. Experience is how we learn, like... Experience is how we gain the semantic content of language, right? That things that you say, there's semantic content. I think semantic content is what, like the quality of the experience of a thing itself. It's ideal, supposedly, it's what separates humans from computers, although who the fuck knows. But that understanding, I think, can only be gained through experience, right? That's why the Chinese room or whatever experiment with Searle is a question of like, does a guy in the room that's translating the language, does he have a semantic understanding of what's going on, or is it only a syntactic understanding of the language is processing, which isn't equivalent to the semantic understanding of a thing, but I don't care. I don't fuck it.
A woman is someone who claims that as their identity.
Wait, this is not, we were watching the rest of this. Oh boy.
He was.
Right.
Anyway, do you want to weigh in, Rain, on what?
What is the actual question that people are trying to make about what is a woman, but don't have the marts to from it? The smart people are just asking if you believe in trans people or not, but they think it's like a clever way of asking.
A woman is? Is there any?
Your experiences may not always lead to truth. There is a real truth behind whether someone is a man or a woman or not. No, there's not. What are you talking about? These are literally socially created concepts by humans. Language doesn't exist and categories don't exist outside of human. Well, unless you think that there's a God that exists that creates categories of things. But then that's a whole other religious epistemic argument or whatever. But universal concepts of things don't exist outside of human understanding, right? When you're talking about a particular thing, what you're talking about is like a relationship between underlying matter, and those relationships are ways that we organize and make sense of the world. But arguably they don't exist absent, the universal form doesn't exist absent like humans to have that idea, right? Like if every single human being were to be eliminated from the planet, like would a chair exist? Or would not a chair? A chair might exist, but would the concept, would the universal form of a chair exist? Or would the universal form of a bottle exist if you eliminate all of humans? Probably not.
Any different answers?
That is absolutely wrong, Destiny. Okay, good for you. Sex for mammals exists outside of human understanding, though. No, it doesn't. That's not true. Sex is a category of things. No, there might be underlying facts about underlying matter or whatever, where animals might have particular things and go about in particular ways and create babies and all of that. But the categories of sex, these categorical things, are ways that humans organize things on the planet. It's our way of like making sense of the world. These universal categories don't exist outside of human understanding. Like a particular tree or the matter that comprises a tree is hopefully a thing that exists. But the concept of a tree, trees as a concept don't exist when humans don't exist. What is it? Why would you separate the matter from the tree from the matter from the planet? Or why would you separate the matter? Why would you even have a collection of like the wood, the leaves, the bark? I don't know what the fuck all the parts of a tree are, right? The organizing that into one concept and then universalizing it and then categorizing other things in that concept. Why would you call that a thing? These are human things. Destiny was way too philosophical with his answer, which leads to the criticism. It's fair. No, it's a philosophical question. If you can't entertain the concept, then don't ask the question. When you're asking questions about language, you're always asking, these are always like very abstract questions. If you want to talk about trans people, then man the fuck up and talk about trans people. Don't do this pussyfooting around on like philosophy of language while being too retarded to understand what you're doing. Just say it. Do you think that the trans people are real? Do you think that people can actually identify as a different sex or identify as a different gender? Just say that. Don't be a cowardly fuck who has to like squirm around like a little fucking worm on the outsides asking, retarded philosophy questions because you're too retarded to actually engage with the subject, like head on. The words are human made, but the concepts are not. That's the point. No. Okay. Yeah, okay. Concepts exist. Even if all humans are going, concepts exist. We just discover the concepts. We discover the universal forms. Thank God. Wouldn't nature just categorize itself without humans ever existing? No. What? No. Why? In what part of nature would why would nature create a category? Ever? Things exist and they do as they do, but the category is like is a pattern or universal form. Who's to separate out? A leaf from a branch, or a branch from a trunk, or a trunk from the ground, or a tree from the planet, or a planet from a solar system? To separate these things out and to recognize distinct entities here. It requires like some sort of conscious differentiation to create these concepts. These concepts don't exist. You can't see sex anywhere, right? There is no way to see sex. In the same way that you can't see a chair, you've got like a collection or organization of matter, and you might be able to describe like its constituent elements, but you can't see that particular thing because that particular thing it's a human organization of the concept. Did gravity not exist before they gave it a name? For gravity, you're talking about like a force, a fundamental like force of the universe. That's different than a universal category of a thing. can't animals do it too? I don't know. We've never had. I don't even know if we could find evidence of animals doing it. You can see sex without humanity. Animals see it all the time. Every animal has found sex without cultural input. No, they don't, you fucking moron. What the fuck are you talking about? You think that when a dog goes to hump another dog, they have the universal concept of sex in their mind? No, they don't, you fucking retard. Hormones in their brain make them horny because they see something that looks like it's fuckable, and then they go and they shove their dick in it enough until they fucking come, and then they walk away. That's the only thing that's happening in a dog's head. There is no universal organization or recognition of concepts that are greater than or more abstract than the actual particular thing that they're engaging in. Unless you've spoken to a dog that's keyed you in on that. Are you saying that concepts and categories are only human things that can never be a universal thing? Correct. That is my belief, yes. If you're very religious, there might be ways to construct categories as like features of the universe. I personally don't believe that. I think it's a silly belief, but Destiny, doesn't a pattern exist even if there's no one to observe it? The pattern of a tree would exist even if there's no one to call it a tree. No, show me where the pattern of a tree is. That's the question then. Where is that universal concept? Show me. Where do I find it? Would you give the term human as much of an ambiguous meaning? No. Just because something is a universal and abstract form doesn't mean it's ambiguous. You can still very clearly define a thing. It doesn't have to be ambiguous. I'm just saying that it doesn't exist outside of these are mind-dependent things. Wow, Destiny thinks he's so smart. What you were speaking about is not an objective truth. It's highly subjective, but you were speaking with so much arrogance. Okay, good. Yeah, true. Good luck. At Destiny, I have a question. Whether the word is woman or smasha, the concept overlaps through all human societies, but Red Pill argues the concept is being undermined and redefined. Do you disagree? I don't disagree that there are redefinitions of how we view genders and maybe even sex to some extent through human history. No, this is happening all the time. Culture is constantly redefining and reinterpreting things. With the trans stuff and with drugs and surgeries, it's definitely a bit different than it has been in the past, maybe even meaningfully different or of a different kind of alteration. And whether or not this is good or bad, I think it's something worth discussing. But you can have the discussion of that without trying to invoke theories of language or universal Platonic forms that are way fucking beyond any hope of you understanding these things, because you can't even entertain the idea without feeling so fucking threatened that you've got to go crawl in the corner and piss yourself. Just say that. It's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with the new ways that we're coming to understand what woman or more man means, or the idea of injecting hormones into people to change their sex or gender. They say that. Those are even, I don't even say those derisively. Those are defensible positions. You can have arguments about that. What you can't have is some argument pretending that there is some universal prescriptive language that everybody must sign on to, and that's like a feature of the universe that we're discovering that is now being encoded into our brains. That's the dumbest fucking way to make that argument. Just argue about the actual concepts themselves, not more abstract things that you're unwilling to engage with.
I agree with Rich. A woman is just tits, a vagina, and just they give life. Literally.
It's not complex.
It's not at all.
Yeah. Thank God.
We give everyone gives a certain quality, but really that's the generality of it all.
You know, it's interesting with Destiny because I've found that most men, that men are disagreeable, women are more agreeable. Men,
right.
If some dude walked into the bar and he's like, yeah, I'm a woman, all the dudes would be like, no, you're not, bro. I see.
What?
Men, that men are disagreeable, women are more agreeable. Men,
right.
If some dude walked into the bar and he's like, yeah, I'm a woman, all the dudes would be like, no, you're not, bro.
It's such a stupid example. What if Blair White walks into a bar? Now do you believe in trans people? It's such a stupid fucking example. You're pivoting between fact and language. We can use language how we want, but there are large gamete producers and small gamete producers, and this is as fundamental to mammalian biology as gravity is to the universe. Well, I'll skip over the fact that you probably don't even understand a single thing about gravity, which is fine. But if you want to argue that there is a fact of the matter about reproductive organs, that is obviously true. If you want to argue that for women and for men, that 99.99% of the time there is an overlap on this concept between like who we call men have these gametes, who we call women have these gametes, that's also true. Nobody's gonna, or nobody should argue against that. That's almost for sure true. But like, keep the questions specific and keep the arguments precise. Don't balloon it out into some retarded shit like, well, one is a woman. Because, well, now you're invoking a whole bunch of other baggage and stuff that we, there's so much other stuff going on that when you're asking those broader questions about universalization or about language, just don't do that. Just focus on the specifics then. That's fine. Why can't the universe give concepts? Why is that not possible? Because I don't believe in immaterial things, and universal forms are not material or found anywhere in the world. They're products of people's minds. You can't find, you cannot find a category. You can't find the universal form of a thing or whatever, or any organization. This is all like relational, so it exists in our minds. Obviously, there is no perfect definition of man and woman, but isn't it best to use a robust scientific definition? No, what are you talking about? We don't use robust scientific definitions for anything. That's just not how day-to-day life normally works. What are you talking about? Even Europeans brag about using fucking kilograms, and they're using it as measures of weight instead of mass, which is arguably incorrect, an incorrect way to use grams. So no, we don't use anything like, it's most scientifically fucking hardcore. It's just not how we normally speak. It's not how language works. It's not how humans work. Okay.
Bruh, like, I see your beard and your bulge and your package, and sorry. Whereas women are more inclined to be like, well, she feels that way. It's her truth.
I think a lot
This
of
is
women...
why I don't think that women, like The View, should ever be allowed to just do a show without a man being like...
Then how do you write laws if things can change all the time? Just because something is socially constructed, or just because there's a universal category that's invoked or created by humans, doesn't mean that it can change all the time. Some things are more changeable, some things are less changeable. It depends on the particular thing we're talking about. If we're talking about a thing like what is music, well, that's probably something that has changed quite a bit over time. If you're talking about something like, what is a chair or a table, that's probably something that hasn't changed very much throughout all the time. It depends on the word, it depends on the concept, it depends on its use, it depends on how we become familiar with it. Thank you, Destiny. I just recently watched the entire crash course in philosophy. I respect your philosophical understanding of language. I'd be done if I had to deal with your chat on a daily. I don't even know what the crash course is, okay? Whatever it is, it probably knows more than me, so... That's a fair point about law. How do you propose we write any laws that are required to be gender specific? I don't know. It depends on what the law is, and then you would just specify. How many laws are even gender specific? Are there a lot of gender specific laws? You could be mistaken in thinking a painting you own was made by Picasso, but if you discover it is a fake, you will not continue to believe it's a Picasso. Same with being tricked with the appearance of a convincing trans person. Okay. Toplessness laws, but those are unconstitutional anyways and illegal in the Fifth Circuit. Nice. I think you're conflating universalism and realism. These concepts may as well be universal, but they wouldn't exist mind independently like realists like to claim. Okay, I don't believe that universal concepts are mind independent, so I don't know what you want me to... Why does it exist like that in our mind? Why don't most people just mistake where the branch ends and leaves start? Why do animals also perceive it similarly to humans? If you think that animals perceive the world the same way as we do, we're way off in conversation. Please answer this. I'm curious. Can't you say a woman is someone with XX chromosomes but still mistake their gender, just like how you can mistake someone for being someone else, but that doesn't change the fact that the person you thought they were is still the same person? You're mixing up like a particular thing versus a category. The question is the same thing as the Picasso painting, okay? Earlier, the guy tried to make the point that like, oh, well, if you had a painting and you thought it was a Picasso and then you found out it wasn't by a Picasso, then you wouldn't treat it as a Picasso. Sure, but that's because you care more about the particular thing itself than like any category. It would still be like a painting, but like you're looking for a very, very, very particular fact of the matter of like who painted it. At that point, you don't even care what the fucking painting looks like. You just care that he was the one that actually painted it, right? The reality, this is such a... Okay, I need to chill. Girls and boys and children grow up and they learn all about what a woman is and what a man is and what a boy is. All of them learn these things without ever even knowing what a chromosome is. The way that we become familiar with these concepts of what is a man and what is a woman, there's more content. There is more content to that definition than chromosomes or even gametes, all right? You can argue that it stems from chromosomes, that there are other features or whatever that we identify, as male or female, and they stem from those. You can make that argument if you want to be a little bit more sophisticated about it. But the reality is that we become familiar with these concepts before ever even learning what a chromosome is. So clearly something is happening there. That's not just chromosomal identification. Trying to find an argument. Are different kinds of particles objective category? I don't know what even the question means. I don't even know if I can answer that question.
No, that ain't true, lady. Because guys are a little bit more prone to being like, nah, I don't play that game.
It's like
Whereas
The View needs a supervisor?
What's that?
The View needs a supervisor.
The
You
View
should
needs
take
a
care of that.
supervisor.
A lot of women like snap and congratulate stupidity. That's the thing. Like they always like come together like, yeah, I love that. I love everything that you're doing. You know, it's like wrong. A woman will never like say wrong about another woman because they are so.
Meanwhile, all of these red pill cucks will go and high five each other's dicks over their Islam shit when none of them have opened up a single holy book in their entire fucking lives. And then they'll sit there and they'll clap each other's ass cheeks over whatever crypto scam bullshit they're trying to sell people or approve of. Bro, the idea that like men are above these like weak-minded socialization things where they bow to social pressure and will sit around each other like needlessly and endlessly approving the bullshit that each other is the funniest fucking cope in the universe.
So concerned about their status and who they are and stuff. They're like, no, I love her, but then talk behind her back.
Right.
Well, it's competition. They don't want them to do well.
Yeah.
They don't want other women to surpass them. So they'll lie to their face and tell them they're doing a great job because it behooves them to keep women low so they can ascend and get higher level men. You talk about, women are best at sabotaging other women.
So good. Mean Girls. Literally a whole movie about it. Mean Girls. Like, literally.
They just came out with Mean Girls, a part 2, 20 years later.
Not the same. It's not the same.
Okay.
It's like a musical or something. Not the same.
All right, guys, stop being such mean girls here.
Exactly.
But Destiny, do better, bro. Rich, not a fan of Destiny, but we'll see. Maybe we make some peace there. No, not gonna happen.
I like being around men that are men, right?
Yeah.
The dude looks like he can't punch his way out of a wet paper bag.
Oh shit.
Can I ask you, who do you have like an...
Why this 60-year-old guy with these gross fucking... What are we...
Right?
Yeah.
The dude looks like he can't punch his way out of a wet paper bag.
Oh shit.
Can I ask you, who do you
Like,
have...
did this guy fight his way to this position in life? Well, like Mr. Four Eyes over here is like the warrior of his society. Like,
have like an adversarial opinion with that you would like to debate? Because like obviously like Jasmine Jafar, she's...
oh, and she asked him. That's included at the end of this video. It's fucking epic and memey as fuck.
I'll ask you, who do you have like an adversarial opinion with that you would like to debate? Because like obviously like Jasmine Jafar, she's someone polar opposite to you. Destiny, someone polar opposite to you. You don't want to share... You said you wouldn't share a stage with either of them. So who is someone who shares what you would call a very adversarial opinion to you, who you would like to get up and debate with?
There's intelligent people that have adversarial opinions that you can have a conversation with. There's other people that just try to baffle you with bullshit, right? I just don't have time for that.
But could you give? Do you have any?
What do you? No offense, but like, what do you do with your time, bro? Like, you're sitting here on this show. Like, what is so important? Like, I would probably be the biggest platform you have access to. What are you talking about?
Example of someone who
Throw some names at me.
I mean, would you?
I don't think about other people as much as you think I do.
I was like, I don't even know who's out there.
Yeah.
Wait, but meanwhile, you have all this information about my personal life, supposedly. Like, what?
Said,
I didn't even know who the hell Chelsea Handler was.
You know, Chelsea Handler. He basically, Rich gave you the ain't nobody got no time for that speech.
Whoa. If you like that one, click right here to watch the.
Wait, is this really the same guy? Is he Richard Cooper? May 24th. Why anyone gives this homo that lets other dudes bang his wife a mic is beyond me. Are you just looking to amplify his retarded takes and have a laugh? March 22nd. The guy that lets other guys bang his wife is calling everyone dumber. That's Rich. February 14th, people still talk to this homosexual after his polyship crash and burn, January 23rd. The thing they both have in common is neither one could punch their way out of a wet paper bag, January 5th. Arguing with you is like playing chess with a pigeon. Even when you lose, you strut around proudly shitting on everything like you are a winner. By the way, how do you like being wrong about letting dudes bang your wife? This guy has eaten more of his cum than any fucking gay dude across the entirety of Grindr. You can always tell the cum eaters, the self-cum eaters, when you look at stuff like this. This guy absolutely feasts on his own fucking loads every time he jerks off to whatever new cartoon he's drawn or watched of like some dude getting cucked because he wishes that he could be in the fucking chair every single time. There has to be. To have this level of obsession must be projection. I don't believe anything else. The obsession and the fascination that people seem to have on like a sexual life that I didn't even lead is so fucking weird to me. Holy shit. Okay, thank you for this. What an amazing video. He's got more tweets about Destiny. Most people tweet. Oh. What do you believe is the main reason people are uncomfortable with the shift and how we define gender? Are you happy to accept people's reasoning to why they're uncomfortable with such a shift? I don't even think people have thought about it at all. I think it's just part of like your tribe basically, and then you inherit your beliefs and that's it. I think it's the start and stop. Most people don't think about any of this shit. They say natural-born healers with hyperfocus and extreme healing is a mental illness and should take meds and watch natural-born killers. You definitely should take meds. Destiny, use this for the dumbass in chat. How do they know any fictional character is a specific gender? Do we always get a karyotype in their lore? Wow. I truly don't mean to be rude, but I think you tell people they haven't thought about it, whom you disagree with, to dismiss them easier. That's great, but I'll talk to any of these people and they'll dodge me. I've done all of these topics in extreme depth, at extreme length for years on my fucking YouTube channel, whatever. So you can make that claim about me, but it's hollow as fuck. Okay, actual question I can't push past, but why shouldn't trans people legally be identified as their sex from birth and socially identify as trans? I'm pro-trans to this extent, and if I can hear the logic to it, I have zero problem changing my mind. I don't care to change your mind. The reality is trans people would sort themselves out anyway, and you would have no problem with it. The people that are hardcore on like, oh, well, you should always be in the sex you identify with, it should always be you're born at, blah, blah, blah. The reality is that if you were in a mall and your wife went to the bathroom with her daughter and you saw Buck Angel walk out of the bathroom, you would lose your fucking shit. And Buck Angel talking to you and saying like, oh, well, actually, it's okay. I'm a trans man, so I have a vagina. That wouldn't be an acceptable answer to you. You wouldn't accept it. You'd say, fuck you, bro. Go to the fuck, or I mean, not bro, I mean girl. Go to the other bathroom. That's what you would say. Because you would do it. You would look at them, you would have a feeling about it, and you would intuitively decide where they should or shouldn't go based on their gender expression. That's how you would think. You don't need an argument for it. You don't need to legislate for it. That would be it. If you were in a bathroom with your little 5-year-old boy and fucking Blair White came walking in, you would look at her and you'd be like, hey, I don't think you belong in here. Like, my son's in here. Like, what the fuck? Like, go to the other. That's what you would say. That's it. Now, whether that means that somebody should be able to participate in sports or, for medical decisions, these are different things, okay? At Destiny, the average trans woman looks like a man. That's the whole point of the discourse. You have no idea what the average trans person looks like. You look at people on Twitter. But also, thank you for admitting that, because then if you admit that, then it really does all come down to gender expression, and it doesn't come down to any sort of like actual genotypical thing, genotype. Yeah. Like when conservatives say that like XX and XY are the only thing, conservatives want this guy. I mean, sorry, this girl. Conservatives want this girl in the bathroom with their daughters. That's what you're saying, okay? If you're a conservative, you're saying, I want this person to go to the bathroom right next to my daughter. That's what you're saying every time. And listen, if you want to own that, then fine, own it, I guess. I just don't think in the real world, I don't think most people's brains operate this way. Unironically, Andrew Tate gave, I think it was memeing, but unironically, Andrew Tate also, in through humor, is actually hinting at a lot of the concepts that I'm speaking of here.
Would you rather have sex with a transsexual, which is a legitimate 10, or a woman, which is a legitimate 1? And everyone's sitting there clicking woman, 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 because they think they're going to be gay if they do anything else, but they're not actually thinking about the question. When I say a 1 and a 10, I mean Megan Fox with a dick, that's the tranny, or Hulk Hogan with a pussy, that's the girl. So you're thinking, well, I don't want to be gay, so I just click the girl number 1, did it? You're going to fuck Hulk Hogan? Okay, there's a pussy, but he's got mustache and muscles and shit, all hairy. Big dude, 6'5". That sounds pretty gay. I don't care if it's a pussy. That is gay. There's Megan Fox. Okay, he's got a dick. Maybe you can like boot it out the way. I'm still Megan Fox. You know what I'm saying? At least she's small and shit. And you can hand around her neck, mess her up. You ain't messing up Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's gonna mess you up. Which one is it?
Why do we use the pronoun he for male animals and the pronoun she for female animals? Because we generally map he and she across the entire, I think, animal kingdom, across anything that has gametes, like by, would it be by, it wouldn't be bimodal gametes. Gametes would be binary gametes, right? I think it's generally we identify male and female.